Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a little video where I talk you through some of the details that I've done in Johanna's Christmas, so you have a look and see how I've coloured certain things with a sort of Christmassy theme. So I'm not actually going to be colouring, I'm just going to be showing you through my books. I've got two copies of Johanna's Christmas. This one I've completed, and I have done a flip through of this, which I'll link to in the description, but the other one I haven't, but I'm still going to show you a few bits and pieces. So this one here, this is the lovely Gingerbread House one, and I thought I would just talk you through some of the details of this. Firstly, the sky. You can see I went for a sort of pink and blue sky, and I just used a light polychromos blue and a light pink, and I just tried to blend them together, and I used a blending pencil and just did the different layers of colour. So I did it a bit darker in the middle, lighter towards the outside, and blended them together to get that effect. I probably should have drawn some snow on it really, but anyway. Now the rooftops are done like sweets, that was the idea. I'm pretty sure that's what you would do on a gingerbread house. I've never made one. And I just did them in bright colours, the colours that you would see this sort of sweet. And if I zoom in a little bit for you, you can see that I've done a little bit of shine on the bottom of each sweet. So they're actually coloured in a block of colour. There's no shading. I didn't bother to shade them here, but I've done a little shine on the bottom, so they look like they've got a sort of crispy, sugary outside on the sweets. And I also want to talk about the windows. Now, I've done windows like this. I've actually done a tutorial for windows, one of my Halloween ones, but just to show you how I did this, I wanted to look really warm. Because it's a wintry picture, it's nice to see it all cosy inside. And also these could be boiled sweets that have been melted to make the windows, which people sometimes do with these sorts of things. And I did a sort of darker colour towards the edge and then lighter in the middle, which I think makes it look like there's more shadow around the edge where the frame is. So that's how I did that one. I shall zoom out a little bit while I turn the page. Now this one, this is this page has the baubles and the Christmas tree. Now I drew in the window and the wood panelling. I am going to do a tutorial at some point on how to do this sort of wood effect, and I'm not too keen on, this one isn't done as well as I think I could do it now. This is quite an old picture, but I wanted to show you the baubles. What I did with the decorations on the tree and the baubles was I kept to a colour scheme. So we've got yellow, orange and gold sort of colours throughout, just to make it all tie together and match. So that was my idea there. And then the presents are a bit more random, but you see I've still stuck with a red, yellow, green sort of colour scheme, which is sort of quite Christmassy obviously, but I wanted to not have too many random colours through this particular picture. And the window I just drew with a ruler, very easy, kept it the same, measured it, and then just obviously coloured this blue in. Now it looks a little bit scruffy, but I thought I can get away with that. Looks like it's snowing, and pop some snow in the corners as well. So that's that one. That's all from that book. This is my original book, but my later book that I'm doing now, I've got some more things in to show you. Now this is the obviously the title page, and I wanted to show you to start with the stocking here. And as you can see, I've tried to make it look like it's fluffy. And what I've done, I will probably do a tutorial for this at some point as well, I can just talk you through it now, is that I do a grey background, and then I do little flecks, little tiny flecks with my pencil in a darker grey and a black, and then I go over with white, so with flecks in white as well. So you've got a bit of a mix of different colours. It's quite hard to see if I zoom in. Oh, sorry. My camera can't cope if I zoom in anymore, so you can't really see, but that's what I've done with that one. And also you could do the same with the red. You could do a paler red or pink underneath, and then do lots of flecks of colour. And I'm going to have a go at that at some time to try and get the whole stocking fluffy, not just the white bits. And what else have I got on this one to show you? The baubles. So what I tried to do was to make them look like they were shiny, so I did a paler colour in the middle than on the outside, so they were like they were catching the light. So all the baubles are similar, and they're symmetrical because of the nature of the picture. And the holly I wanted to show you as well. Now this is done in quite a basic way. It's just one colour, which I've done. There's no shading in it, but I've put these little white lines on the edge just to make it look like it's reflecting the light, which I thought was quite fun. And the same with the berries. They're just one solid red, but there's just a little dot in the middle, and just those little white highlights can make quite a big difference. Same with the presents. I've done a little highlight there, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Right, moving on to the next picture anyway. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. This is the stag picture, and I just wanted to explain I did this sort of wood panelling. It was very easy. I just drew the lines with a ruler. These lengths between each one are actually the width of my big ruler, so it's really easy, just line, line, line. And then I used polychromos, the lightest brown, to shade in all of them, and did a darker one across here, and then took some thinner, harder pencils. You could use Ergosoft or something. I used some Prisma colour, very thins, to do little lines to make the wood. So it's very simple. And with the actual stag, I actually looked up a picture of one, a photo, and it was actually a painting of a stag, which I found easier than a photograph of a real one. And I just copied the shading from that. So that was simply all I did with that one. Okay. This is the lovely polar bear. Now, oops, I zoom out a little bit more. Now I've done this sort of bokeh style background. Now I used a video tutorial for this. I think it might have been Colour with Claire or Claire Holloway Colouring. I can't remember which of the two, but that's what I did for that. And then the ice. Now the ice, I think that I used a book by Helen Ellison, where she has tutorials for doing gemstones. And I used the gemstone tutorial for the ice, using blues, of course, to try and make it look all sparkly and shiny. So that was fun. And then I decided to stick to a colour scheme with the red presents and the gold bows, and the same with the scarf, just to tie it all together, really. So that was that one. And then we have these sweets on this page. Now, I don't know how closely I can zoom in, but you can see I did a green background, and then I made it a darker green around the edge of each of the sweets to look like they were shadowed. Now, every sweet, mainly, I used a tutorial from a book by Jennifer Zimmerman, a fabulous book, and has all sorts of Christmas sweet ideas for, so the lollipop, which is all shimmery. I don't know how close I can get. There we go, for you to see, but it sort of looks shimmery, and which I really enjoy doing that one. And then the sort of shiny lollipop, and the gingerbread man, which I'm really pleased with how he came out. He looks dotty, like textured and everything. That was a lovely tutorial. The tutorial also for the candy canes, and I used one for these sweets. Quite a lot of them, and there was one for icing, I think, and I used the one for cake icing for these, and I used a tutorial for these. So I just used all, so I can't give away how I did it because it's not fair on and I made these chocolate from a chocolate tutorial, so I can't really tell you how I did it because it's not fair on the author of the book. But I will leave a link to the book so you can have a little look. I have got a review of the book actually, which might be more useful for you, and you can have a look at all the what other tutorials there are and whether it might be one that you'd like. So this one, I decided to do the dove in gold. I have got a few tutorials on gold, different gold things, so you can have a look and see the colour combos that I used for that. And I did that first, and then I was like, do I do a background? What do I do? So I did the presents, and I did them so that they were quite a limited colour palette again. So I just did the yellow, the blue and the green with the all red bows to sort of tie it all together. And then I wanted to leave these gift tags initially white. So I thought I'm going to have to do a sky background, and it all turned into a complete disaster. I did a pastel background and then I couldn't get the pastel right to the edges of everything and it looked really messy. So I used some blending fluid and I ended up blending the pink of the bow into the pastel, and that looked even worse. So I ended up covering it in 2 layers of pencil, and if you look closely you can still see pink around here, but I decided it just gave the sky a bit of a interesting colour and it worked. And the white didn't work either, so I went over these in brown to make them look like sort of brown craft paper in the end. So it was a sort of a big adaptation of my original plan, but in the end I'm pleased with how it came out. And there's also dots of snow in the sky which may not pick up too well on the camera, so that's that idea. Now this one, I wanted to show you that I'd used silver pen. I don't know how well there we go. You can see where I've used it on the edges of the frame. The great thing about Christmas colouring is it's a great excuse to get out the gold and silver, maybe the glitter pens as well. My glitter pens actually, when they dry and you rub them, the glitter comes off, so I don't use them too much in books. Although I did in this one. I'll show you here. All these baubles are coloured in glitter pen, but some of the glitter has come off. But there we go. I just felt that's one of those days when you just feel like putting colour down on a page and you don't want to shade or think about it too much. So I just got on my glitter pens and off I went. It was great fun, very relaxing. So anyway, this is a metallic pen, it's not a glitter pen. And the birds, I wanted to show you how I've done them to look a little bit fluffy. So basically I coloured in the bird first, shaded it and did whatever I wanted. And then for these parts, there's a white pen, which I've used. Hang on, let me zoom in a little bit. We should be able to get you to see a little bit more there. You can see with this one. There's white pen on here and down here to make it look a bit more fluffy. And what the key is to take it outside of the line that Johanna's drawn for us. And that really gives the illusion that there's feathers. And then with this one, because it's dark, I didn't use the white pen. I used a brown fine liner to make that one look fluffy. Birds aren't always that fluffy, but I just wanted to make them look a bit more interesting, so that's what I did with that. And the last one here, I wanted to show you the holly, which there's a bit of shading in the holly. It's a little bit darker around the outside than in the middle, and the berries are darker at the bottom than the top with some white pen. And I've got a tutorial on the holly as well as the mistletoe and the ivy, so you can see how I did them. These were all done with Staedtler Ergosoft pencils. The tutorials have been released quite recently, so you may have seen them. But what I do sometimes, with holly, is you can do the berries with a red glitter pen instead of doing them like this, and that can be quite fun. And the mistletoe with a silver glitter pen or a silver metallic pen, just to make them look a little bit more shiny and Christmassy. And the bauble, I tried to make it look metallic by using sort of gold colours and fading them out towards the middle to make it look like it's catching the light. I feel the silver was a little bit more successful on this top bit. And then there's the poinsettias, which there is again a tutorial for. All the mistletoe and holly's done in the same way as the outside. So that's that one. So hopefully that's given you a few ideas of what to do in the book. I find sometimes I tend to keep sticking with traditional colours, lots of reds and greens, but I just wanted to show you quickly one other that I did, which wasn't such traditional colours, but I'm put a bookmark in it, so it's going to take me a while to find it. Here we go. This one, let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Now I really was stuck on what to do with this page, so I decided to use one or two, I think there's 2 or 3 colours in this. These are polychromos greens, and I used a cold colour, so a more bluey green, which is a bit colder because I thought it was more wintry, and because there's white on the icing on the puddings and the snowmen, I wanted to do a background so that the white would show up, so I just used the one colour. So that's another idea for you. Okay, well I hope that's given you some ideas and that you enjoyed this video, a little bit of a different video, but I'll be back with a tutorial tomorrow, so we'll be back to normal. But thank you very much for watching and happy colouring.